Hey guys, there's been a lot of very public trials recently that had a lot of political undertones. And I thought, as a channel that is striving to increase the amount of objectivity in the world, I thought maybe it would be a good idea for me to take a look at some of these and kind of go through my thoughts on them and what I think is the most objective view. Now, I haven't gone through all the evidence, of course. I'm not on the jury or anything, so I'm obviously not obligated to do that. But I have, especially on the Rittenhouse case, I've gone through a lot of evidence on that and watched a lot of the trial. And I just want to talk about what I think is the correct, what the truth is according to the law. Now, moral issues aside, the law, these trials are about the law, and people are getting upset on both sides over things that maybe they shouldn't, because this is not what the lawyers and judges are here to do. They're not to decide moral issues, they're to decide legal issues. And so I just want to go through, talk about 3 different cases that were very public recently, what I think the truth is, and try to understand why so many people that look at this from a political lens do not do the same thing. So let's get into it. Okay, so there's 3 cases that I'm going to talk about: Chauvin, Rittenhouse, and this Arbery shooting in Georgia. Now, I'm not going to show a video of the Chauvin trial. There's one video that pretty much is, I mean, yes, there's other evidence, but there's one video that pretty much you need to just watch. And if you watch that, you will come to the conclusion that Chauvin is guilty. I mean, you could go through all the other evidence if you'd like to, but I don't think you necessarily need to. I'm not going to show the video because it's a little hard to watch. And most of you have probably seen the video. So in that instance, Chauvin broke the law and he was found guilty. Some people were angry he didn't get a longer sentence, but he was found guilty. So I think that is the objective truth according to the law in that case. This next case is Rittenhouse. We're going to watch a couple of these videos. Rittenhouse, I would say, is not quite as open and shut as Chauvin would be, or was. But I think once you digest all the evidence, and this is the trial that I've watched the most of these 3 by far, once you digest the evidence, it's very hard to not come to the conclusion that according to the law, he was defending himself and he's not guilty. And that's, of course, what the jury came to. The problem is, so many people, it was deemed to be a political issue. So many people on the left, without looking at any evidence, assume he's guilty, and people on the right, without looking at any evidence, assume he's innocent. And it's like, if we don't get away from that as a country, I try to be an optimist, but if we don't get away from those sort of things, we may be doomed. I don't like to be hyperbolic like that, but we need people to get away from the politics and look at things more objectively in this country, like desperately. So we're going to look at the first video, and this, I guess, was aired on Tucker Carlson or something. I don't know, but you can see who originally shot it, this guy, Brandon Beeman. And this was the best video for the first shooting of Rosenbaum. And we're going to watch it. So there's Rittenhouse here, and Rosenbaum's chasing him.
On the right there in the lighter clothing, that is Joseph Rosenbaum. You saw him a split second before that throw a bag at Kyle Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse, his screen left there. We've shadowed him as well, circled him, and Rosenbaum clearly continuing to chase Rittenhouse. Then let's go to the second piece of video, a split second later. The chase continues there, and right at that point, as they're between a couple of the vehicles in that car dealership, which was being attacked by some protesters, that is the moment at which Kyle Rittenhouse turns, with Rosenbaum getting...
So, in this, there was a lot of... The full context is there was a lot of threats made by Rosenbaum. There was a big debate over whether Kyle Rittenhouse raised his weapon at the protesters. I haven't seen any video evidence that says he did or didn't. But, well, the evidence I did see, it doesn't seem like he did. And most of the eyewitness testimony, it seemed like he did not provoke Rosenbaum to attack him. Rosenbaum was simply mad that he was there with a weapon and defending property, which legally you're not allowed to defend property, and that was a big part of the trial. So on this first shooting, I think this is the shooting where it's the most difficult to make a determination, but it is the one that's the most critical because it was the first one. I think there was enough there for self-defense. It was close, I would say, but I do think there was enough there. This is the second pair of shootings. One person killed and the other severely wounded. And in this one, we'll watch it, but I really think there's a very strong case for self-defense in both of these shootings. Dude came up and hit him with a rock or something in the back of the head. That's the first thing that happened. He's got an entire angry mob chasing him. He gets knocked down. A dude hits him with in the head with a skateboard. Let's see. Does it show the part where he gets knocked down? I think he just tripped, maybe there. No, he got hit. No, that's the part where he got hit in the head by the shot or the skateboard. Falls down, and then he starts shooting. Guy puts his hands up. He stops shooting. So I think fairly good case for self-defense. Now, of course, I don't think the kid should have been there. A lot of people are saying that, and I agree, he shouldn't have been there. Do I think maybe it could lead to more right-wing people showing up at these protests with weapons? Yeah. Unfortunately, it probably will. But they better know that a few things go a little bit different in this, and this guy is going to prison for life. I mean, it was close. So you can't just start shooting people at these things. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see something like that, because people are going to think that you can get away with that. No, you have to have a pretty strong case for self-defense to shoot somebody and get away with it. Now, I want to get into the Ahmaud Arbery shooting. There's pretty good video from this. This video comes from one of the defendants, the guy that was in the vehicle behind the lead vehicle. Ahmaud Arbery is just running through this neighborhood. Apparently in this neighborhood there's been some robberies or something going on. And these guys are convinced it's this guy that's doing it. So they chase him down with weapons drawn and confront him. Now, self-defense case gets pretty weak just from that. Chasing somebody down with a weapon is not self-defense. They're going to try to claim that, but it's a very difficult defense. I think in this case, we'll watch the video here. This is the key piece of evidence. There's tons of better evidence. I haven't watched much of the rest of the trial, so grain of salt, I suppose, but from what I have seen, it certainly seems like these guys are going to be found guilty. Perhaps the guy that shot the video, he's also being charged with the same crimes. Perhaps he gets a lesser sentence, maybe he even gets off, but the father and son that were in front confronting him, Mr. Arbery, I don't think they have a very good case for self-defense. They've tried to go into, we were trying to make a citizen's arrest, this sort of thing. I don't think that's a good case. I don't think it's going to work. I think they're going to be found guilty, and I think they're going to get a very extremely harsh sentence. That's where I'm at on this. Let's watch the video. So you hear the shot fired. They're fighting over the shotgun, and he shoots him. Yeah, I don't, even if the kid grabbed the guy's shotgun, I still don't think you have a strong case for self-defense in that one. I really don't. But I guess we'll let the jury decide that. I think they're going to find these guys guilty. You can't chase somebody down and be a vigilante in this country. That vigilante justice is not legal. And this is basically what they tried to do. I think they're going to be guilty, and people will get upset either way, no matter what happens. But as long as they come to the correct conclusion in this trial, nobody should be angry, because these trials are about the law. And you should be looking at this from a legal perspective, not from a political perspective. But this is what people do right now. People, without looking at any evidence, they're basically told by their media source, whether it be the left or the right, how they should feel about these things. And they don't look at any of the evidence. They don't even look at the videos a lot of times. They just come to the conclusion that this guy's innocent, this guy's guilty, because this is what I've been spoon-fed and told to say. And it's sad. And as a society, we've got to try to find a way to get people to move away from that. I don't know how we do that, but we need to do that somehow.